All right, so here's the part of the podcast where you get like an intro or something like that. Unfortunately, we're not really great at those. So this is our introduction. I'm Anthony.
And I'm Alex.
And we're going to talk stuff.
Huh? Oh, 6-9? Yeah, but you're facing the fucking Orioles.
Yeah, but I'm not talking about it like we're fucking great.
Orioles are they like the worst team? They've got to be a giant piece of crap.
They're pretty great.
They lose Machado.
But I don't want to hear any shit like that from the Yankee fan. As like, oh, look at us, like fucking how good we're looking. We beat the Twins.
No. I'm just saying the Orioles
they suck.
I'm pretty sure they're going to be one of the worst teams, right? Only because they're going to lose Machado to somebody at some point.
Well, he's going to sign with the Yankees.
No. Everyone's saying the Red Sox. So
he's not going to us.
We don't have a spot for him.
He has. Oh no, I'm sorry. We don't
have a spot for him anymore.
The White Sox are 10-29.
Ugh.
Oh, gross. The Orioles are 13-29, so they have 3 more wins, but they are shitty. Yeah, you have a spot. Play him at fucking third.
No, but he doesn't want to play third.
He wants to play short? Cool, so put Didi at third, or tell Didi
to
fuck off.
Right. Yeah, right.
Oh, I forgot Didi's so good because he plays in Yankee Stadium and can hit 35, 40 homers a year, just like Curtis Granderson did. Like, Didi's good. I think Didi's good. But
Didi's pretty good.
He is pretty good.
He propped up our team for the first, month.
If you're not going to get Manny Machado and your reason is because we have Didi Gregorius, I'm sorry.
No, I think the real reason is because it'll stunt all the guys behind who we think are pretty good. I don't know. I just think,
your guys are already all there. Gleyber Torres is already up. Put him at second or put him at third.
No, I know, but I kind of like what our lineup is right now. I don't know.
But the Yankees always want more. It's in New York, man. The demand is hot.
No. I think we kind of already did. I don't know. That's not necessarily true. We've kind of turned over a new leaf a little.
Yes, but at the end of the day, Yankees get a Yankee.
We did our kind of our move, the Stanton move. Thank you, Jeter.
God, and fucking bullshit if I've ever seen it.
And I don't know. I actually don't think he's going to go to the Yankees. But I wouldn't be surprised if you guys got him.
I don't see
it. But I don't know. I think your fan base doesn't like him, but I
fucking hate him. But I also hate David Price.
Yeah.
And then again, I'm pretty sure John Henry doesn't call any of us when they make a decision.
But then it's like, if you and you pay a price or whatever it is, it's like, okay. Are you saying he's going to be a shortstop over Bogarts? Because I don't think so, but
I feel like we're gonna go after Bryce Harper.
Oh well, I felt like before we got Stanton that we were like the favorites to get Bryce Harper.
I think Jackie Bradley gets bounced out. Benintendi goes to center.
Dude, Jackie Bradley is so awful.
It's a real shame because his defense is so amazing. Like, he makes so much. Him and Kevin Pillar are so fun to watch defensively.
What was the trade that you guys had in place for
Bradley for Puig?
That's right. Bradley,
we didn't have it. The Dodgers offered it.
Yeah, that's right. That's
but
right.
I feel like that's kind of like a.
You guys call him JBJ? I heard.
Dude,
I just know this stuff from Bill Simmons.
You're a fucking idiot. I do not call him
JBJ.
I don't call him that. I call him Jackie Bradley. That's it.
Dude, I just think the bottom third of your lineup is a little... Ugh.
Well, yeah, but it's all going to change when Petey comes back.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I love your lineup, but after, like...
Well, everybody's catchers, can't hit, so that's one.
Bradley's our catcher can hit a little.
Okay, but he sucks at being a catcher, so it's always a
catch-22. Yeah, but I'll take the hitting over the actual.
But there's
catching.
Either way, there's always something with a catcher. Your catcher's either
Piazza wasn't that bad. He was better. He's better defensively than Sanchez.
Yes, he is.
I think I'd take Pudge as my favorite kind of both.
Johnny Bench.
Well, yeah, but I didn't get to actually watch Johnny Bench,
so I can't be. That we've seen.
I mean, it would be nice that you visually saw them play.
Okay, so...
Not Pudge? What, Piazza? I don't know.
Jason Kendall's up there.
But was it, Kendall? Kendall, yeah.
Yeah, from the Pirates.
Well,
and they sucked, and he was still sweet.
What about Veritek? You guys love him.
Veritek... His hitting slowed down towards the end. I think Veritek is one of the best catchers of all time.
What was the Twins guy? Did he switch to first? I forgot his name. Yeah, he switched, right?
Yeah, just like Buster Posey did. Because that's what I was saying. You're either a really good defensive catcher or a really good offensive catcher. And either way, if you're not a great defensive catcher, you move away from catcher by the time you're like 26, 27. That's why Varitek's hitting died because he was a catcher for so long.
I thought they'd just do it because, like, if you're valuable enough to the team, they don't want you there just, like, having runners taking shots at you and bending down
knees,
and
having to squat
killing your knees. It's that's what it is. It's like, okay, you're too valuable to this team. We need to, like, move you.
Exactly. They don't do so. They can't do shit like that. And I actually think Varitek is more. I mean, Varitek has caught 4 separate no-hitters from 4 different pitchers. He's the only person to ever do that. I think that's tremendous. He was a great caller of the game, and before, like, his downturn happened, well, I guess this is true of anybody, but his hitting was really on point before his downturn. But then his downturn, it was, like, really bad. Like, he would swing through everything.
I saw him in Boston at, like, the fish market in, like, 2005 or 2000. Awesome. It might have been even 2000. It was, like, early 2000. And everyone was going crazy.
Yeah, like, he's the fucking captain, bro.
I was like, oh, my lordy. Okay.
And he punched A-Rod in the face. He's
I
a
had a
fucking
Yankees
hero.
hat on, by the way, too.
Gross.
Well, I got to represent. I can't be on that goddamn tee without my Yankees hat on.
The tee is the train that they have, right?
Yeah.
Happy, I couldn't remember. Well, I mean, yeah, he's awesome. He had the fucking C on his jersey. And again, he fucking whitewashed A-Rod. Whitewashed isn't the right term. Maybe it is. I may have misspoke. But he snuffed him. And A-Rod's a piece of shit who's super unlikable.
Well, actually, he's more likable now as a commentator.
I think and I'm not just saying it because I don't like A-Rod. I think his commentary sucks.
I don't think it's bad. He's like...
one of the... When he talks...
I don't really expect much from everybody, so it's like...
Neither do I, but
I like the banter him and Big Papi used to have.
Yes, but Papi can have that with anybody. I just... Like, A-Rod is the guy who, like... If he was doing basketball or, like, his like, baseball comments are, like...
He has good investments.
I don't care. Oh my god.
I care. He's on CNBC sometimes.
His baseball commentary.
Him and like sometimes Bradshaw's on there too.
Oh, well, good for him.
Just giving like
A-Rod comes through with like, guys, like whoever ends up at the end of the game with the most runs will win this game, and he's serious about it. Like he just seems like he looks like and sounds like he just learned how to read. Plus, he's a cheater. And I don't want him analyzing the sport when he cheated. And he cost a bunch of people their jobs because he tried blaming it on the fucking FedEx guy or whoever carried his fucking sample. And I'm not trying to act like I'm holier than thou because I know some Red Sox have cheated and blah, 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 blah.
Yes, you have.
Super overrated. I have not cheated. I have not done steroids.
Yes, you have.
Me personally.
Hey, did you see this giant Messi article for ESPN the magazine? That's sweet. On... I didn't read it yet. I just noticed it.
It's pretty sweet, but it's all like stuff that we know. It's all like, oh, Messi's very unassuming and he's very quiet. And I want to.
But this is good stuff, man. Because a lot of people here don't even probably know what he looks like. To be honest with you.
No, probably don't. It was a really good article, but I mean, I'm also a Messi fan, so.
Yeah, I know. I think it's important, man. He needs to get out there. Not that he needs to get out there more. He's he is who he is. He's like just gonna.
He's the fucking truth.
Not be Ronaldo and not be like in everybody's goddamn all up in the videos and all
up
that
in the videos, coming to death row,
all that shit. So
East Coast don't got love for Lionel Messi.
I guess not. He's definitely not going to do that. So
if people are listening,
it's going to be him.
If people are listening to this and the sports betting episode back to back, we're getting Bedazzled references. We're getting 90s hip hop, West Coast death row references.
Dude,
we're just fucking.
I don't even know why anybody would go to the Source Awards at that juncture in time.
What's funny is
what a horrible idea.
When I first started learning about like that shit, I remember being like, "What are the fucking Source Awards?"
Yeah, that's awful, man.
You know what's funny is at
95, 96, 94, all
at
that
event though,
lordy.
the Death Row Source Awards one, when that shit went down, I think Outkast won some shit, and Andre was wearing this cool like Atlanta Braves jersey, and he made like a speech or said some shit about like the South not getting their due, and everybody just glossed over it because of the whole fucking East Coast West Coast shit.
Yeah, but I mean, that's valid for that time period. I mean, of course they were
It's
the
valid
next.
now. There's fucking shows on fucking USA that's like Tupac and Biggie. What actually happened? And I'm like you're like the show on USA is going to tell me who the fucking killer is.
No, I'm not saying valid like that. I'm saying like the South had its day probably like they were probably like 5 years behind their time as far as that goes. But
The South will never get their due as far as like its respect in like the hip hop community, despite what. And they've got some like legitimately Big Crit like, is fucking awesome. Andre is fucking sick. But I'm
saying as far as like mainstream, I would say in the next few years when that Ludacris album Back for the First Time came out and all that kind of stuff, I thought Atlanta started getting like more.
Well, yeah, because you could play the fucking Southern Hospitality song. That was a club banger. You liked it, and it was a good song, so you could play that shit in like the club in New York, and people liked it. But that was still.
I thought all this stuff, and then you get in, you got your Juicy J's of the world and all this kind of like stuff. What?
Oh, why?
They started getting more play.
Yeah, but they suck.
I felt like, it's not like I don't see people repping Compton as much now. Even like Kendrick, he doesn't not like crazy Comptonness.
Yes, he is.
But not like repping it every song like it needs to be said like they used to do in the 90s. No, but
people know at this point.
No, people just know.
But Kendrick's also not that type of dude.
Like,
Kendrick is
it's like Nas. He just had to say he was from Queens in every single goddamn song for some reason.
Well, that's because in the 90s, like, your credibility fucking mattered.
Better than spelling your name fabulous, but whatever.
That's true. Yeah, good job, Fab. Or trying to not punch women in the face. Fab's a really great human. He spells great, and he punches women right in their mouth. He's a real class act. He's fucking fabulous.
Like Mayweather. Real class.
Dude, I don't want to get... Mayweather's such a huge piece of shit. I don't know. I'm not going there. This is going to get me in a whole nother thing.
I think it's worse.
Sports rivalries. Let's talk about Mayweather.
Visually thinking about it because he's like 4'9", so he's kind of like punching up at like whoever his girlfriend is.
He's a piece of shit. Anybody who beats the shit out of like his baby mother, and then when the kid gets upset about it, and, like it tells the kid that like he's gonna fuck him up if he tells anyone. He's just a piece of shit. Not that I know him personally. Like, granted, all this could be hearsay. But he's got like 80 domestic cases, and he always settles out of court. And I just where there's smoke, there's fire. And
I've met him once. He was nice and cordial, but at the same time, you just do. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad you were a man and not a woman, because he would have punched you right in the mouth.
Maybe I was like, oh, don't punch me. Now he was pretty short.
Oh God.
No, he comes into North Face to buy bags for his money. Like, that's the bags he uses are North Face bags.
Really? Why? Does he say why?
So, like, the money team comes in a lot and buys, the giant... we need
70 duffels from all of Mayweather's
No, just, like, because we have those crazy big XX or XL duffels that, like, other people just don't, like,
I love how you say we, like you're still there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel more a part of them than I do, like, Adidas.
Well, yeah, but Adidas was... not great.
So I'll be like, I would say we a lot with North Face. Yeah, still
Evergreen.
Nobody knows when I work there.
We got really off topic.
Yeah, Source Awards.
At this point, I don't even know
just cut some stuff out
anymore. I like leaving it.
Stuff out.
I'm gonna probably leave it.
No, because there's a whole bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna cut.
Keep it tight.
Or I might just leave it.
No, really, what I wanted to do was go from that Red Sox discussion straight into like rivalry.
I was thinking about it. I don't even know how we fucking ended up on this.
Well, because I went to Messi and then I went to the Source Awards.
That's what. Yeah, you did it. So sports. I know, but
the Messi. Even though I brought up Messi, I feel that could have tied back in.
Yes, it could have.
Sports rivalries, but then I guess the Sports Award and Sports Awards. The Sports Awards. Source Awards kind of took its own life of its own to Biggie and Tupac.
Yeah, which is ironic. Would you like to say something about sports rivalries? Seeing how that's
I don't know, like, why?
Oh boy, you sound like you're about to get real philosophical.
No, not at all. Like, I just want to know why they are important, I guess, in like the fabric of like, I don't know, especially like American sports. It does, but it goes across all the lines.
Because like, everything in the world has a balance, like good and evil, dark and light, like heaven and hell, God and the devil, yin and yang. You have to have your enemy, and a team is only, just like fucking comics or movies or good shows, and that your hero is only as good as the villains that they have, or the arch nemesis that they have. which is why Batman is so sweet, because the Joker is fucking awesome. So, like, your shit is stronger if you have an arch nemesis. And it adds, like,
is it all predicated on proximity and or number of times, like, you face off in a short gap in time?
Oh boy, well,
you know what I'm saying? Like, because mainly it's proximity.
Well,
based.
it's
like,
got
a lot of people are like, okay, you know,
we're north, you're
Arsenal
south
versus, you know,
the London Derby,
right?
Or Manchester City, Manchester United.
Right, exactly. Like something like that, you know, Liverpool versus Everton or whatever.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff. It's all proximity based, and then they've been playing each other for a very long time, right? They've had a match for a very long time. That's like why people think like Ohio State and Michigan are like very important, you know, because they've faced each other every year since this year. So just growing up, you're like, oh, they've had 90 years. Geez, they just keep going, blah, blah, blah. So there's that aspect, but then there's also like the like Lakers Celtics, which shouldn't have a rivalry at all. They play in different leagues, they're on opposite coasts.
Yes, but that was predicated upon so many success.
Times.
Yes, and they were both so many great.
Times in a short span of time. Then it becomes a rivalry, right? Like this, like say even like Heat Spurs, like when LeBron was there, was like a little bit of thing. Even right now with the Cavs Warriors, that's even like a little bit of thing, just because they're playing so many times in such a short time span, and it's and the games are so important. I guess.
Correct. Yeah,
so it's kind of all of that, right?
I mean, it's the same thing with like when you said proximity, the first one I thought of was like Colts Patriots, but that was really predicated upon like Manning and Brady. And I think you got to have the familiarity. I think there has to be some sort of intensity to it or hatred. There has to be success from both sides. And like if the Browns and Bengals were both sweet, everybody would like talk about that, but the Browns fucking suck, so no one's like, oh, Browns Bengals is this week. Well,
that's the thing. I think also it just can't be like in your division. Like I'm sure there's some people that care, but like I don't care like that the Colts and Jags face each other 2 times a year. No, you know, I don't
but
really
those teams also haven't been very successful. Like
just at the same time.
No, exactly. Like whereas divisional rivalries, like the first thing I think of is Ravens Steelers.
Yeah.
Like, that's a sweet rivalry. But again, I think football, it's easier to have a rivalry because
the divisions are so small?
That and the sport itself is based on, like, intensity and animosity. Like, you're hitting another dude for, like, 3 hours every week. Like, so it's built upon, like, that heatedness. And, like, Lakers and Celtics has, like, a lot of physicality, a lot of shit that happened. And same thing with like Red Sox Yankees. Like there's been physical moments in the series, and I think that adds to it for sure. Like every good rivalry has
landmark snippets kind of things.
Every good rivalry needs to have some big legendary moment. It's got to have. There's so many factors, but you have to have that legendary moment where either something intense or violent happened, or something great happened, or like someone accomplished something at the expense of the other team. Like Ohio State Michigan has already been like a rivalry, but I think of Charles Woodson returning that punt and then striking the Heisman post. And that because granted he had like a great season, but that moment cemented him as the Heisman winner because he did it against Ohio State. Like, he did it against their rival in, like, a big fucking game. And both teams were good. It was a big game, and he did something. Like, I think the best rivalries are... Like, I think the best rivalry today going is Barcelona and Madrid. Because of the two teams, both of their successes, and then because of Ronaldo and Messi. Like, I don't think Barcelona and Madrid will have as high of a rivalry, like, rating and intensity as they do now because of Messi and Ronaldo. Like, if the clubs are already rivals and then you add in, like, the two best players of their time.
Yeah, but does some things come down to not necessarily, like, maybe the people are just, like, attaching the team a little bit? Like, is Bird Magic more important than like Celtics Lakers for that time period?
No,
You know,
Bird Magic are like the focal point, but it's Celtics Lakers
but why is it Celtics Lakers?
because they
Like,
played because of the
like,
success that they had and how good they were and the familiarity and time frame in which they
but
played
really
each
they
other.
just started out in that time period, and then yeah, you had like the Kobe versus like the big three as well.
Yeah,
But for the
but
main,
that was mainly hyped up because of the old shit.
I felt mainly you had. I mean, I don't know everything about basketball. I'm not sure if those Jerry West teams lost against those Celtics teams at
Yeah,
any
they
point
did
in
because
time.
they did.
Um, but mainly, I thought it got, in my mind, it got geared up when it was like Bird Magic. And then did their personal rivalry really? Did they just take the teams along with them?
I can see that. Yeah,
Like in my mess, like this is a hard one because like Messi Ronaldo is a very, I feel like it is a rivalry and it's not a rivalry. Like they don't personally go at it.
no, but it's a rivalry because of the
They're
fan
really
base.
different people, but they have like similar stats and they're both there at the same time.
And the clubs that they're on.
And they face each other. So even if they don't like dislike each other like a I don't know, like a Federer and Nadal or whatever. I don't think they like dislike each other necessarily, but like
Right.
just because they're great at the same time and they're facing each other just a lot, and their stats are going to obviously get compared to each other just because they're in the same generation. Like it just becomes some sort of like immediate kind of rivalry, and then you back that by having two teams that have a very long history in general. I think that one gets amped up even further. Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with the Red Sox Yankees, like the history behind it and what it means and this and that. And I think people also, I mean, the media.
Yeah,
also
I don't
plays
think
a large
individual
part into it.
players as much though during that thing. I mean, moments in our history, sure, like Manny or Big Papi on your side, or just like Jeter doing things, or like whoever on our side. But I don't think of it. It's funny because with Red Sox Yankees, I really think of it like team wise, going all the way back to like Babe Ruth stuff and like
Yes.
all the things that happened, and like you guys obviously started out very good. Then you have this long drought that everyone like just talks about, and we just make it worse by winning and stuff like that. And then people are like, in my mind, it still is, but it's like, is it a rivalry because it's like one sided during those weird years?
Well, it was, but it's also a rivalry because the Yankee success was looked at as like predicated upon.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But then I felt like it heated up again in the 70s, like that Fisk kind of,
Yes, when the Red Sox got good again. Because again,
Right,
both teams
right.
have to be good.
And so you got good again, but you didn't get there necessarily. But you at least were in the conversation. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You were there again. And like that's the time now that we have. It's like, oh my God, everyone, I think, it's obviously great in any league when you're like your major market teams are like doing well. I always think like the NBA is better if like, the Lakers or the Celtics or
Yes.
the Knicks ever would do well.
Ever.
Yeah. I just think like it kind of brings everything up just because the amount of buzz there is around it.
Right.
But like, especially now, like having the like Yankees, Red Sox kind of back in a way to what it was or whatever is like a great like thing. I don't know.
I can see that. Yeah, I think it's good for the sport. And I enjoy it like a little. I mean, I don't like the Yankees winning ever, but it's nice to have that type of intensity. I like the rivalries. I think they add something to it. It just makes it seem like a more meaningful thing in anything. Like
so really, like, are most of the I don't know. It's hard because I would guess in America there's kind of I don't want to say a different definition, but people look at certain things, rivalries a certain way. But I think in the world, a lot of the best rivalries are going to be like soccer based, right? Like,
yes.
What is it, like River Plate and Boca or whatever, and like all these kind of things that really, they have like a lot of hatred, and people like, start fires and fight each other and like crazy things in the stadiums.
Well,
and
South
like,
American soccer is also very different. They like execute referees on the field.
Yeah, I know. It's like really intense. It's like,
yeah, like you'll die.
I just don't think, I don't think we think about that here, but it's like, say, if a team qualify, I saw we just talked about it in the World Cup episode, some of these kind of more obscure teams getting in there, and it's like, the days they play in that country will take a national holiday.
Yeah,
so like
it's a big fucking deal.
And everybody will be, all places will be closed because their team's playing that day, and their team gets, a guaranteed like 3 matches in the span of a few weeks, and they're going to take like holidays for all those games. It's like pretty wild, like with our thinking here in like America. Like we would never think about something like that, but it's like they're just trying to think of a way to make that happen for the Super Bowl around like
well, I also think
around
like
the President's Weekend, but
sweet. Yeah, but there's also those other countries. I think that's symptomatic of a larger thing, that specific issue. Like, I think America, because it's a melting pot and there's so many different people here, there's not like that, like a unified heritage type of thing. Whereas, like, if you're from Costa Rica or Peru or like Brazil, someone who cares a lot about something and where like heritage and culture is like more important, yeah, they're gonna, again, like with the rivalry, like the River Plate and Boca people like hate the fuck out of each other, but they're gonna stand unified and root for Argentina at the World Cup because it's such a big deal. I don't think we have that here because there's not that national sense of unification. I guess I think that's a big thing. America's a fucking country.
People got more into it. I'm just saying soccer based, but the Mexico-U.S. thing is a little something there.
But it's because like one side is a bunch of assholes.
yeah, and then there's Mexico. So.
See, I see what you did there, but that's.
No, but I feel like that's a little bit, and that's really just in like soccer circles that they're trying to like, I don't know, like force the rivalry, but they just like talking about it. So,
exactly.
But yeah, I mean, obviously the bigger rivalries from our vantage point, Red Sox, Yankees, I don't know, Duke, North Carolina, Ohio State, Michigan, kind of.
And see, again, I think of those moments, like I think Duke, North Carolina, and I know there's been bigger moments than the one I'm going to mention, but I think of when Gerald Henderson rocked Hansborough and broke his nose and there was blood everywhere. Like, you gotta have some sort of fucking, and then I think of the other things like the Jason Capel half-court shot and the Jerry Stackhouse, like, tying. I think about all those, like, different moments, but yeah, there's so many different, like, factors that go into it, but I think there's a steady set of, like, of steady corollaries that are present in like each rivalry. Proximity is one. I think the most important things are success of the two teams, the times they've played each other, and how much has that one team, like the Steelers and Patriots have a rivalry because the Patriots always get in the Steelers' way and beat the Steelers.
Mm-hmm.
So Steeler fans might consider that a rivalry, but Patriot fans probably don't. But Patriot fans know that Steeler fans hate the Patriots and hate them, and that they've gotten in the Steelers' way. Like, so that's a rivalry, maybe for one side, but not both. And I think that's also a big thing too. Like, your teams have to be good, and one needs to get in the way of the other one. Like, one needs to, if you're just having like an intense
you need to
game,
go through a team in order to get to where you want to be.
Yeah, like it's got to be that. Like Bills Dolphins in the 90s, like, was an intense rivalry because Marino and Kelly were both great, but it was also like Dan Marino was really sweet, but they couldn't get past the Bills.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that lends it adds more to like the story. Like, what can they do? Like, who gets by who does what? Because again, that adds more like hatred and fuel to the fire. Like, not only. And I think that's maybe where some of the hate stems from, too. Like, you hate a team because, like, they either did something dirty or they took something important from you. Like, you lost a game or you lost in the playoffs or this happened here and it led to this. Like, there has to be some sort of ramification or... Yeah, again, it's all about the intensity aspect of it. Like, and the higher the stakes, gambling, the higher the intensity, the higher the ramifications, the higher the meaning, the higher, like, I guess, the drama, actually.
Yeah, and I even think it works kind of on, like, a local even level, if you think about, like, Texas football or something like that. Like,
oh my God.
If you're in a town where that's the only thing that's getting being talked about.
That's kind of like soccer, because those little towns shut down on a Friday night to go watch high school football.
Yeah. So it's like, this is the only thing we talk about is, like, how much we hate this team. And then in that town, this is the only thing that we talk about, that we hate the other team. So then that becomes like, intense on both sides as well.
Oh yeah, again, that's centered around the familiarity, probably those two teams are probably successful in their own right, see each other in the state playoffs or division or whatever. So like, you have bragging rights because you're close, and they've probably knocked each other out and done things like that to cost the other one, like their success. That's it. Like, one team's success, a good rivalry is built upon one team's success coming at the expense of the other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Most are like that. Same thing with like Ohio State, Michigan, with how it used to be before the playoff. Like, if you wanted to get to the Rose Bowl, so you had to win the Big Ten. In order to win the Big Ten, you probably had to go undefeated, which means whoever won the Ohio State Michigan game probably went to the Rose Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, same thing with like all those kind of Auburn, Alabama, everything, Georgia, Florida.
So to win your thing and to have your success, it doubles, because it means it came at the expense of your rival, or it came at the expense of someone else. And then it's the same thing on the losing end, because not only are you not in like the game you want to be in, but the reason you're not in is because these same fuckers knocked you out again, or the dudes that you hate knocked you out again.
And that's the thing I think about even on the college side, is that because you're rotating players so quickly. I mean, obviously we remember like the Charles Woodsons and like Desmond Howards, and I'm kind of a Michigan guy, so I don't really care about
I'm very aware of that.
So you remember these players and the time period or whatever, but because they're rotating through so quickly, it's really about the teams or even the coaches sometimes. Like, your Schemblechlers and your like whatever
Woody
Trestles
Hayes
and your
exactly
your Woody Hayes and all of those kind of things, and even your Saban now is like, because they're more the mainstays. The program is the mainstay, the coach is the mainstay rather than the players. You think of the Yankees, you can think of that Jeter era, and he was like a mainstay. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
For so many years, like 20 years. So it's like, but when you're rotating through players every 3-4 years, then it really becomes more about the programs. And I think that's where you get those really kind of great rivalries in college and kind of.
I think that can water it down a little though too. Like I don't care as much about college basketball rivalries, because I know a majority of the starting five are just going to be freshmen that are going to leave after this year. So, like, I feel like it loses a little something. Like, I liked seeing, when I started to get into, like, Carolina Duke and get into college basketball, like, I liked seeing, knowing that, like, on Carolina it was Joe Forte and, like, Haywood, and then on the Duke side it was Jay Williams and Shane Battier and Boozer, and I knew they were going to be there for, like, two years at least, or, like, 3 years. So that familiarity that breeds contempt, as the saying goes, like, that intensifies it. Now I don't, like, have it as much. Like, I don't really hate Michael. I'm a Carolina guy. Like, I don't like Duke. But I don't really hate Michael Bagley, because he's not going to be there next year. Like, I didn't really hate.
Obviously, I don't even know who Michael Bagley is. Are you thinking Marvin Bagley? Then yeah, sure.
What did I say?
Michael Bagley.
Yikes. Marvin Bagley? Really?
What, Michael? Did you say Michael?
What did I say?
You said Michael.
It is Marvin. Yikes.
Yeah.
I'll cut this out.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, there's not that.
That's how much disrespect you just make up names.
Yeah, that's how much I fucking hate him. Yeah, I don't give a shit about him or like Wendell Carter or Wendell Carter or whatever you fucking say. Like, there's not that. Like, oh, I don't like this guy because he's been getting me for like 2-3 years. It's like, oh, I played him twice this year and he did well, but we won one game, they won one game.
Well, that's why you guys hate.
Whatever.
That's why you guys hated Reddick so much, and why we hated Hansbrough so much is just like because they were there 4 years and you can't avoid it.
Yes, I also didn't like Reddick because he was out on the town getting wasted and getting DUIs and was allowed to play every game, and then Duke was still trying to hold their holier than thou attitude.
Hey,
same thing with fucking
Patrick Kane. Gonna Patrick Kane.
Yeah, he's a piece of shit, just like fucking Grayson Allen, who everybody tried. They made him sit for like a game and a half or some crap. That's why I hated Reddick. I hate Grayson Allen too. He's a piece of shit.
Great
hot takes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they're super hot. No, but that'll be changing anyway soon when they finally straighten out. I know Adam Silver and the NBA are hard. Want to get the high schoolers that deserve it into the NBA immediately and stop this one and done thing. Or I think that's going to go back more to what it what it was, and that'll make the college.
Oh, like when dudes like
game.
Garnett could come out and all that shit like that. It's just like, just jump right to the game.
Yeah, it's either going to be, I think...
Or they're going to go to the fucking...
Euro or G League?
Lonzo Ball's dad's fucking basketball league or whatever the fuck.
Oh, I see. Well, actually, a lot of people have thoughts that if you can build up the G League into like a decent minor league kind of, it's still under the NBA umbrella with the coaching and stuff like that,
right.
That if you give them a choice, for people who don't want to go to college but can't make it straight into the league when they move to the high school system, that maybe you can do the G League for a couple years kind of thing.
That would be a good idea. Like give some people some help and let them like acclimate a little better and set them better up for success.
And it might make the G League better because they get better talent now. And
yeah, because nobody gives a shit about the G League right now.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Unless it's in your town, I suppose, and you have nothing else.
Yeah, I kind of like minor league baseball.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sleepy.
Yeah, I know. I gotta cut my wife telling me I'm too loud.
Oh, well. I guess you're too loud.
I guess so. I got animated for Sports Rivalries / whatever we were talking about before that.
Yeah, I don't really remember. It's all one big blur.
Source Awards.
It's all Source Awards. I mean, everybody should... The moral of the story... There's one thing that everybody can take away from our podcast is
just go on YouTube and watch the 1995 Source Awards.
Watch the whole thing. It's a perfect microcosm of everything that we do on this show, regardless of topic, is all the source material is the Source Awards from 95. Yeah. Come to Death Row. Like, just listen to our podcast. We are the Death Row of podcasts. Our producer isn't going to be all up in the videos, dancing.
Yeah,
you're not going to do that. I don't even know who our producer is. Is it me? I guess it's me.
You're the editor, yeah,
and producer. I think I might have to start getting all in the videos.
All right. Well, when we start making the videos, I'll be sure to reach out.
Does that make me the Suge Knight of this? That's pretty sweet. No, it's really not. He's not great.
Yikes.
Oh boy, look what we started. This is an interesting rabbit. No, we've got. Well, we'll see what happens.
All right,
I'm gonna cut this one here before it gets worse. Okay, so this is the part where you get an outro to let you know that the episode's over. But just like the intro, we're not good at outros. So we hope you liked the episode, and if you didn't, take a long, hard look at yourself
in the mirror.
You sound like an idiot.
Thanks.
You sound like a big idiot.
Okay. In a good way or a bad way?
I don't know yet. I'm going to have to listen to it.
Okay, that's fine. All right, do it again.
In the mirror.
All right, go ahead.